It all started a few months ago when my best friend and I made plans for the perfect trip. We'd been talking about it for weeks, an adventure we'd both dreamed about for years. We'd even saved up for it, marking the dates on our calendars, planning all the activities we wanted to do, and getting excited for the memories we'd make together. But a week before we were supposed to leave, I got a text from her. It was out of the blue, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. "I'm sorry, I just can't afford it right now," she wrote. "I'm really bummed about it, but I'm going to have to cancel." I was shocked, and honestly, I was hurt. We'd been talking about this trip for so long, and now, suddenly, she was backing out. We had made so many plans together, and she had seemed just as excited as I was. I tried to be understanding, telling her that I totally get how tough money can be sometimes, and I didn't want to push her if it wasn't in her budget. But still, something felt off. She had never brought up any financial issues before. I figured maybe she had a tough month or something, so I tried to reassure her that we could figure it out. Maybe we could go another time. Or if it helped, I'd cover some of her expenses. After all, we've been friends for so long, and I really wanted us to go on this trip together. But when I offered, she insisted that she couldn't take me up on that. "Don't worry about it," she said. "It's just not the right time." I tried not to take it too personally, telling myself that sometimes things just don't work out. But deep down, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was something more going on. Why would she cancel so last minute? We had been talking about this for months. A few days went by, and I tried to let it go. I figured maybe I was overthinking it. But then, something happened that I couldn't ignore. I was scrolling through my social media feed when I saw her post. It was a picture of her at an airport, suitcase in hand, looking as happy as ever. And there, right next to her, was someone else. She had gone on the exact trip we had planned. Only this time, she was with someone else. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. How could she cancel on me and go on the trip with someone else? I stared at the post, trying to wrap my mind around it. Had she lied to me? Was this some kind of joke? I couldn't understand why she would do something like this. We were supposed to go together, and now it seemed like she was rubbing it in my face. My emotions were all over the place. Anger, confusion, sadness, betrayal. I wasn't sure how to process it. I immediately reached out to her, but I couldn't find the words. I sent a message, asking her what was going on, but I didn't get a response. The silence only made me more frustrated. Why wasn't she answering me? Had she really just expected me to brush this off? I had to know the truth, so I decided to call her. The phone rang, and I anxiously waited for her to pick up. When she finally did, I could hear the excitement in her voice. "Hey, I'm in such an amazing place. I can't wait to tell you all about it." She sounded completely carefree, as if nothing was wrong. But I wasn't having it. I had to ask, "Why didn't you tell me? You told me you couldn't afford the trip, but now you're there with someone else? What's going on?" There was a long pause on the other end of the line. I could hear her take a deep breath before she spoke. "I didn't think you'd understand," she said softly. "I didn't know how to tell you, but I've been planning this with someone else for a while now. I really wanted to go, but I didn't know how to back out of our plans without disappointing you." Her words hit me like a slap in the face. "So, you just lied to me? You could have told me the truth, but instead, you let me believe you couldn't go and made me feel bad for even suggesting it?" She was quiet for a moment, and then she sighed. "I didn't want to hurt you, but I didn't want to cancel on the other person either. It wasn't easy, and I didn't know how to juggle both things. I didn't know what to say. I felt betrayed, and the way she was justifying her actions made me feel even worse. It was hard to imagine that she hadn't considered how hurt I would feel. I had always been there for her, and this was how she repaid me, by choosing someone else over me without a second thought. "So, that's it? You just didn't think it was important enough to be honest with me?" I asked, my voice shaking. She didn't have a good answer. All I heard was more hesitation, more excuses. "I just didn't want to let you down, but I guess I ended up doing that anyway." I was so upset, I didn't even know what else to say. I ended the call quickly, telling her I needed some space. But as I hung up, I realized something. I couldn't just let this slide. I couldn't be the person who let people walk all over me, so I decided to confront her in person when she came back. I didn't know what I was going to say yet, but I knew I had to stand up for myself. I couldn't let her think it was okay to treat me like this. I was going to get some answers, whether she liked it or not. When she finally came back from the trip, I didn't waste any time. I wasn't going to let this drag on any longer. I called her and told her we needed to talk in person. She sounded surprised, but agreed to meet up at a local cafe that afternoon. When I arrived, I was already feeling a mixture of anxiety and frustration. I couldn't stop replaying the conversation we had on the phone, but I knew this needed to be done. I had to get the closure I deserved. She arrived a few minutes late, looking sun-kissed and relaxed. Nothing like the person I had last spoken to on the phone. She greeted me with a warm smile, but I didn't return it. I was still too hurt by what had happened. We sat down, and after a few moments of awkward silence, I looked her square in the eye and said, "I need to understand why you did this. Why didn't you just tell me the truth about the trip? Why didn't you just be honest with me from the start?" She shifted uncomfortably in her seat. "I don't know. I guess I thought you wouldn't understand. I didn't want to hurt you, and I didn't know how to get out of our plans without disappointing you. It was easier to lie than to face the reality of letting you down." Her words stung, but I couldn't just let it slide. "So, you thought it was okay to lie to me and leave me hanging? You really thought I wouldn't understand? I would have been hurt, sure, but I'd rather you told me the truth than string me along with excuses." She looked away, guilt starting to settle in. "I know, and I'm sorry. I really messed up." I could see that she was genuinely remorseful, but that didn't change how I felt. I had given her the benefit of the doubt, and in return, she had chosen someone else over me. I wasn't sure if I could just forgive her, not yet at least. "It's not just about the trip, though," I continued. "It's about trust. You lied to me, and now I'm questioning everything. If you couldn't be honest with me about this, what else have you not been truthful about?" She was silent for a long moment, then looked at me with tears in her eyes. "I don't want to lose you as a friend. I messed up, and I'll do whatever it takes to make it right." At that moment, I felt torn. I wanted to believe her, but the hurt was still fresh. "I need time to think about all of this. It's not something I can just get over right away." She nodded, understanding. "I get it. I know I've broken your trust, and I don't expect you to forgive me right away. But I want you to know that I'm truly sorry. And when you're ready, I'll be here." We sat there in silence for a while, and I realized that while I wasn't sure if our friendship could ever go back to what it was, I wasn't ready to give up on it completely. I left the cafe with a heavy heart, still unsure of what I wanted to do. The betrayal stung, but I wasn't going to make any rash decisions. Maybe with time, things could heal, or maybe they couldn't. I wasn't sure. But I knew that for now, I needed to focus on myself and figure out what was best for me. The days after that meeting were tough. Every time I saw my phone light up with her name, my heart would skip a beat. Part of me wanted to reach out, to tell her that I was ready to forgive her and move on. But then I would remember the hurt, the sting of betrayal that still lingered in my chest. It was hard to erase the image of her smiling in the pictures, enjoying the very trip she had promised me we would take together. I spent the next few days thinking about our friendship and everything we had been through over the years. We had shared so many memories, and I had always considered her one of the most important people in my life. But this felt different. I had been made to feel like an afterthought, like I wasn't important enough to be considered when she made her plans. I knew deep down that our friendship could never go back to how it was. Trust, once broken, was so difficult to rebuild. And with each passing day, the distance between us grew. I could feel myself drifting, unsure if I even wanted to try and salvage something that felt so damaged. I took some time away from social media, trying to clear my head. But then, as if on cue, I saw the post. It was a photo of her and another friend, arms around each other, smiling and laughing. The caption was a simple, "Can't imagine life without you." It was like a punch to the gut. I had been replaced that I couldn't stop myself. I texted her, barely thinking. "So, I see you've moved on." She responded quickly, "What do you mean?" I didn't want to say it, but the words came out anyway. "You've already replaced me. You're hanging out with someone else, someone who's clearly better than me." There was a long pause before she finally replied. "I didn't mean for you to feel that way. You're important to me, but I messed up. I was wrong. I don't want to lose you, but I understand if you need space." I sat there staring at her message, feeling a lump in my throat. She had messed up, but so had I. Part of me wanted to forgive her, to let it all go and pick up where we left off. But part of me was scared. Scared that it would happen again, that she would let me down when I least expected it. I spent the rest of the day in a haze, unsure of what to do. I knew I needed to make a decision, but I wasn't ready. And as much as I wanted to pretend that everything could go back to normal, I knew it would never be the same. The question lingered in my mind. Was it worth it? Was it worth trying to fix a friendship that had already shown cracks? As the days went by, I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. My mind kept replaying the events over and over, the canceled trip, the photos, the text messages, and her words. I found myself checking her social media more than I should have, trying to understand her actions, but it only made me feel worse. I started wondering if maybe I was being too sensitive or if I was overreacting. But every time I tried to brush it off, the hurt would resurface, deeper than before. One evening, as I was sitting on the couch, scrolling through my phone, I saw a message from her. She had sent a simple, "I miss you." For a moment, I just stared at the message, feeling torn. Did I want to open up that door again? Or should I just let it be, knowing that it might only lead to more disappointment? I decided to respond. "I miss you too, but I'm not sure how to move forward." Her reply came quickly, almost desperate. "I understand. I don't expect you to forgive me right away, but I want to make it right. I've messed up, and I'm sorry. I just don't want to lose you as a friend." Reading her words, I could feel the sincerity in them, but at the same time, I wasn't sure if I could trust it. How many times had she promised things and then turned around and broken them? How many times had I convinced myself that she'd change, only to be let down again? But something inside me, something deep down, told me that I wasn't ready to completely let go of her. We had shared too many memories, too much history, to throw it all away without trying to repair the damage, so I agreed to meet up with her again, this time at a park near my place. We agreed to talk face to face, no distractions, no excuses. I wasn't sure what I wanted from it, but I knew I had to hear her out. When I arrived, I saw her sitting on a bench, waiting for me. Her face lit up when she saw me, but I could tell she was nervous. I was nervous too. "I'm glad you came," she said quietly as I sat down beside her. There was a long silence between us before I spoke. "I've been thinking a lot about everything," I started, trying to keep my voice steady. "And I don't know if I can just forget what happened. You lied to me. You hurt me. And that's hard to get past." She nodded, her eyes filled with regret. "I know. And I don't expect you to just forgive me. I've made mistakes, and I don't want to make excuses for them. I just want a chance to show you that I can do better." There was a quiet pause, and I felt myself wavering. She sounded so genuine, but could I really trust her again? "I don't know if I can just pick up where we left off," I said softly, "but I'm willing to try. I just need to know that I'm not going to get hurt again." Her face softened, and I could see the emotion in her eyes. "I understand, and I'm willing to work for it. I'll prove to you that I'm not the person who let you down. I'll be there for you, no matter what." It was the reassurance I needed, even if it didn't completely erase the doubts in my mind. Maybe, just maybe, we could rebuild what we once had. But I knew it wouldn't be easy. It would take time, trust, and patience. But for the first time in days, I felt a glimmer of hope. After that conversation, things were different, but not exactly the way I had hoped. We tried. I'll give her that. We spent time together, laughed at old inside jokes, and even planned a new trip, this time one that we could both actually afford. But something felt off. The connection we had before, the one that made her the person I trusted most, wasn't there anymore. It wasn't like she was the same person, or like I was either. There was an awkwardness that lingered, a reminder of the betrayal I couldn't quite shake off. First, I thought maybe I was just being paranoid. Maybe I was overthinking it. Maybe it was just going to take time. But then came the day when she canceled plans with me again. This time, it wasn't even for a good reason. She told me she was too tired and needed to rest. I didn't say anything. I didn't even respond right away. I sat there, staring at my phone, remembering the last time she had canceled and then posted about being out with another friend. I couldn't help myself. I scrolled through her Instagram, and there it was. A picture of her at a coffee shop, laughing with someone else, I felt my chest tighten, my anger bubbling up again. It was like nothing had changed. She was still doing the same things. Lying, leaving me out, replacing me. This time, I decided I wasn't going to stay quiet. I wasn't going to keep letting her hurt me, just because I was afraid of losing the person I used to call my best friend. So, I sent her a text. I thought things were going to be different, but clearly, they're not. I'm tired of being your second choice. Her response came almost immediately. I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm sorry if you feel that way. I've just been busy. I never meant to make you feel like you're not important to me. But I knew that wasn't true. If I was important, I wouldn't have been pushed aside, again and again. She wouldn't have been out with someone else, enjoying the same things she promised to share with me. I wasn't just a backup plan. I deserved more than that. That night, I made a decision. I needed to walk away. No more giving her chances, no more waiting around for her to come through. The next day, I called her. I told her I couldn't keep pretending that everything was okay, that it was too hard to keep putting myself in a position where I was constantly disappointed. I wished her well, but it was time for me to let go. Her voice cracked when she spoke, but I couldn't let that sway me. I had made up my mind. I'll always care about you, but I can't keep doing this, I said firmly. Maybe someday we can be friends again, but right now, I need to take care of myself. She stayed quiet for a long time, and I could hear the hurt in her silence. I'm really sorry, she finally whispered, but I wasn't looking for an apology anymore. I wasn't looking for empty promises. I was looking for peace, and that meant moving on. As I hung up the phone, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary. I realized that sometimes, the hardest thing to do is let go of someone who used to mean so much. But I knew I had to, for my own well-being. Days passed, and I couldn't help but think about the decision I had made. In some ways, it felt like a relief, like a heavy burden had been lifted from my chest. I was no longer constantly second-guessing myself, wondering if I was doing the right thing by trying to maintain that friendship. But in other ways, it was harder than I thought it would be. I kept picturing the fun times we used to have, the late-night talks, the trips we planned, the promises we made to each other. It felt strange, almost surreal, to think that all of that was gone now. I spent a lot of time reflecting, trying to make sense of it all. How had things gotten to this point? How had the friendship that had once been the most important thing in my life turned so toxic? Was it all just a gradual buildup of small disappointments? Or was there a turning point I hadn't noticed? As I thought more about it, I realized something that stung. It wasn't just the trip that had hurt me, it was everything. The lies, the broken promises, the times I'd been left waiting, the times she had chosen others over me. It wasn't just about one incident. It was a pattern of behavior that had been there all along, and I had ignored it because I didn't want to face the truth. I had been so invested in keeping the friendship alive that I had let myself be treated like an afterthought. One afternoon, I got a message from her. It wasn't a long text, just a short one. I've been thinking about everything, and I'm really sorry for how I treated you. I hope we can talk soon. My first reaction was to ignore it. But then, I stopped myself. Maybe I needed closure. Maybe I needed to hear her side, one last time, before I fully moved on. So, I agreed to meet up. We met at a small cafe. When I walked in, I saw her sitting at a corner table, waiting. She looked a little different, more put together, but there was a sadness in her eyes. I sat down, and for a moment, neither of us said anything. It was one of those heavy silences that hangs between two people who know something has changed but don't know how to put it into words. Finally, she spoke. I've been selfish. I know I've hurt you, and I can't take that back. I've realized that I've been prioritizing other people, other things, over our friendship, and I'm really sorry for that. I listened, but part of me was still guarded. She was saying all the right things now, but had she really changed? Or was this just another one of her apologies that would lead to the same old behavior? I'm not asking for forgiveness, she continued, but I want you to know that I'm working on myself. And if you ever want to try again, I'll be here. For a moment, I considered what she said. Could I really forgive her and try again? Could I trust her not to hurt me again? I wanted to believe that people could change, that this conversation meant something, but deep down, I knew I wasn't ready to go back to where we had been, so I told her what I had learned. I appreciate your apology. I do. But I've realized that I need to let go. I can't keep waiting for things to change when they never do. Her eyes filled with tears, and I felt a pang of guilt. But I knew this was the right choice. I had to choose myself this time. Maybe one day, we can reconnect, I said softly. But for now, I need to keep moving forward. We said our goodbyes, and as I left the cafe, I felt both sad and relieved. I had made the hard choice, but I was proud of myself for doing it. I wasn't the same person who had put up with her mistakes, and I wasn't going to let anyone treat me like that again.
What do you think? Did she make the right choice by walking away? Or should she have given her friend one more chance? Let us know in the comments below. Everyone's got their own perspective, and we'd love to hear yours. And if you want to hear more stories like this, be sure to subscribe. More drama and more life lessons are coming your way. You won't want to miss it.